ਸਿੱਖ ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਹਰ ਗਤੀਵਿਧੀ ਅਤੇ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹੁਣੇ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰੋ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਅਖੰਡ ਬਾਣੀ ਅਤੇ ਨੋਟੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਬੈਲ ਨੂੰ ਰਿੰਗ ਕਰੋ। ਜਗਤਾਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੌਹਲ ਉਫ ਜੱਗੀ, ਜੀ ਹਾਂ, ਇਹ ਉਹ ਨਾਮ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਸਮਾਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੇ ਹਿਰਾਸਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਆ ਸੀ ਟਾਰਗੇਟ ਕਿਲਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਮਾਮਲਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਇਲਜ਼ਾਮ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਅਸਲਾ ਸਪਲਾਈ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਇਲਜ਼ਾਮ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਨੇ। ਇਸੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਸਨ ਅਤੇ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਵੀ ਇਲਜ਼ਾਮ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਜਾਣਬੁੱਝ ਕੇ ਨਕਲੀ ਪਰਚੇ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਬੇਗੁਨਾਹਾਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਅਤੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਇਹੀ ਬੇਗੁਨਾਹੀ ਦੀ ਦਾਸਤਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੋਂ ਵਿਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚੀ। ਜਗਤਾਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੌਹਲ ਉਫ ਜੱਗੀ ਬੇਗੁਨਾਹ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ, ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਵਕਤ ਹੀ ਤੈਅ ਕਰੇਗਾ। ਪਰ ਜਗਤਾਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੌਹਲ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ, ਵਿਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿਣ ਵਾਲੇ NRIs ਆਖਿਰ ਕੀ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜ਼ਹਿਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਕੁਝ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਸੁਣਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹਾਂਗੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਇਸ ਚੈਨਲ ਦੇ ਥਰੂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ NRIs ਦੇ ਦਿਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਡਰ ਬੈਠਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਜਾਂ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਝੂਠੇ ਪਰਚੇ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਅਰੈਸਟ ਨਾ ਕਰ ਲਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ ਜਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹਰਾਸ਼ ਨਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ। ਤੇ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਚਾਹੇ NRIs ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦੇ ਹੋਣ, ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਦੇ ਹੋਣ ਜਾਂ UK ਦੇ, ਹਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਜ਼ਹਿਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਹੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਜਗਤਾਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੌਹਲ ਉਫ ਜੱਗੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਧੱਕਾ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਯਕੀਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਂਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਆਹ ਸਵਾਲ ਜਵਾਬ ਇਹਨਾਂ NRI ਵੀਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਧਿਆਨ ਨਾਲ ਸੁਣਨਾ।
It's casual, it's chilling. It's not going to be a serious one.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
Hi guys, I'm going to speak in English today, or try anyway. It'll be Scottish. Thank you for joining us. Today is day 43. Jaggi has been detained since the 4th of November 2017. Guys, what I'm going to share with you today is what's not been shared before, which is Jaggi was taken to court today. He was taken without legal representation to court, and this hasn't happened before. Although Jaggi's in judicial remand on 4 cases, Kanna police decided to take him to court today. This was another ploy in order for Jaggi not to meet his solicitor. That's where we're at with Jaggi. Jaggi has also told the FCO that he is being handcuffed 24 hours a day, his left hand and his left leg. He's in a single room on his own. Nobody else, no other cellmate is in that room apart from a police officer who is also there 24 hours. Jaggi has told the FCO that he is having negative thoughts. He is mentally drained. He is tired. And this has been acknowledged by the FCO. They've seen that he was tired. He was nervous. This was the same kind of thing that happened on the 16th of November when Jaggi was first met by a senior FCO consular staff member. And today we have the same situation again. We raised a voice and our voice has been heard worldwide, and that voice needs to get louder. We need to be Jaggi's voice. If we're not Jaggi's voice today, tomorrow, God forbid, this happens to you, no one will be your voice. We're here again. We've got members here that are helping, supporting this campaign. We've been a unity and we're doing this together. If you have any questions, please message in and we'll try and answer any questions that we can.
We got one. So we have a question. The first question is Sandy Randawa. He's asking, who is the FCO?
So that's the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. So they are the department of all government who's responsible for all foreign affairs. So they liaise with every government around the world, and they are responsible for any British citizen who is in trouble, in danger, in this case arrested or detained and tortured, any British citizen on foreign soil. So the Foreign and Commonwealth Office is the Foreign Office Department, and they have 2 streams, the political stream and the consular services. So consular services, who have been, I'd say, attempted to lead on this case, they just check your welfare. So are you okay? You're in police custody. They don't interfere in the legal case at all or the accusations. They will just land to say, are you safe? Are you secure? Are you receiving access to legal services? And just monitor the case. And the political side is who will then liaise with in terms of what the dynamics are. For this case, primarily, this is a political dynamic around, given the history of Sikhs, both with India and with Britain. So that's just the department that's responsible for the offence.
Okay, brilliant. Can we have any questions of the trial that people are unsure about sent in straight away so that we can go through them as soon as possible? Someone's asking, is he still in jail?
He's in police custody. He's not actually physically went to a jail. He was supposed to go to jail on the 17th of November. However, he was intercepted by Ludhiana police. Since Ludhiana police, he has been in police custody. So he was in police custody for a number of days in Ludhiana. I can't remember exactly how many days, but now he's in Kanna police custody. So he's not in a prison.
Someone's also commented on his vulnerability in prison. If anyone can pick that up, is he vulnerable in the Punjab police?
I think, if we just look at Jaggi's state and even some of these so-called confession videos that come out, it's obvious that he is vulnerable. Not just from the videos, but I think the people whose hands he's in, if you look at them historically, if you look at them today, 30 years ago, they seem to be employing the same tactics. It's the same old story, but just with different characters in it. So if we look at even from the DGP downwards, say the top police officer in the whole state downwards, nearly every single one has got some kind of criminal conviction. And if you look at Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, they will say from the DGP downwards, there's criminal convictions that are rife. You know, there's more police officers with criminal convictions than aren't. So these are the people whose hands he's in. So when we talk about vulnerability, it's not vulnerability, it's extreme vulnerability. And not just vulnerable in the sense of, he may be in some kind of pain. His right to life is at stake.
Yeah. I just I think that because it's different, because we're used to the legal system in this country. Mm-hmm. In that, if you're arrested, you go to your local police cell, and there's not that much difference between you then being transferred to prison. However, the judicial custody and police remand is like heaven and earth difference in Punjab. The police custody or police remand in their local prisons is where they have full reign, full control without any authority or any being answerable to anybody, and that's where official torture and reported torture occurs. The only comfort, or small comfort should I say, of being in prison, in the jail system, the judicial system, is that is a controlled environment, that interrogation on a daily basis does not occur. And that's a world apart to where he has been. He's not been in one day, it's not spent a day in jail.
Could someone go over just the details of what he's going through in prison? Because someone's just asking if he's being fed. So any of those details.
Before we get to that, I think if we just say, when we talked about his vulnerability, if you think about it, that police, say a confession to a police officer is inadmissible in court. That's how bad this policing system is there. That if you confess anything to them, you can't use that in court because of the methods they use to get that confession. And I think if one of you want to touch on, because a lot of people have been asking is what's the difference between judicial, police remand, police custody and jail?
I think Jazzy just picked up on this. Mm-hmm. We didn't know much about this until now, and we are going through an investigation process. This is where torture can happen.
So interrogation, right?
Interrogation, yeah. So basically, they're doing their investigations, whereas the judicial custody means that he'll be sitting in a jail cell. So it's basically the answer's there. But the way the Indian system works, even though there may not be a charge sheet, as soon as you go out of police custody, you go into judicial custody and you sit in a jail. And 30 days, 90 days later, there still may not be a charge sheet. So he has to be stuck in that. I just want to pick up on a point about vulnerability. The FCO classify a person under two categories. One, he's vulnerable, which means there's concerns about him, and the other is that there's no concerns. I just want to point out to you guys, on the 16th of November 2017, a senior consular staff member classified Jaggi as vulnerable, and he's still vulnerable. So let's take it on face value of what the FCO, experienced people, deal with criminals, people that go into jails, prisons, they deal with these guys all the time. So they have classified Jaggi as vulnerable. I hope that answers your question. If there's any other things we can add into that.
I think there's one thing that we could add, and Jazz, you might share, is that has the judicial remand? It's not that you're completely safe now, is it? You've still got that scope of being able, having your, being abused and so forth. But
Yeah, totally.
a bit less than police.
Yeah, so if we look at like the context of the situation, like recently there's a report by Missing Punjab, and there was 8,257 cases. That's like over 8,000 cases of false encounters, of disappearances. So we know the whole Indian judiciary is susceptible to corruption. There's politicians being implicated in fake cases and fake allegations, and they're speaking against the judiciary. Any point, whether you're in jail, you're in the police cell, or you're vulnerable and you can be subjected to torture or abuse within that system. I mean, within the system, if there's 8,000 cases of impunity that haven't been resolved till this date, and like you're saying, those police officers are now, they have senior positions within the system, so you don't know who's like torturing. And just like on torture as well, like his condition. So a lot of people we think that torture is just that one moment, like when you're getting physically assaulted or you're being electrocuted. In Jaggi's case, how he was electrocuted, he had his legs stretched. But like torture actually begins from the moment that he's abducted. He's in another country, he doesn't know the system there, he doesn't know till this date. When he spoke in court, the first thing he said is, I'm innocent. He doesn't know what he's been charged with. This whole situation from that first moment till every moment he's in police custody, having been electrocuted, having had his legs stretched, that is torture. He's being surrounded by people, he's completely vulnerable, he doesn't have any power in that situation. There's the constant threat of violence is there.
Yeah.
So once you've been tortured by a police officer, you have no faith within that system, right?
And the whole point of torture is to put them in a state of they have zero control. They're irrelevant.
Exactly.
And if you think about that state of mind that he's now been put himself in, and let's park that, whether the allegations or accusations, whatever they may be. The point is, and park the fact that this is India, this stuff happens. No, this guy's a British citizen. This guy's one of us, right? And anyone who goes to India for any reason could be put at risk. I think if we think about actually what's gone on, right? So he's been arrested. Whatever they may think of him, he's been physically tortured, like you said, mentally tortured, sleep deprivation, midnight questioning, repeated questioning, constantly handcuffed. So we talk about relaxing, sitting down in a chair for an hour, 2 hours. That's uncomfortable. He is handcuffed 24 hours a day. That is your left hand handcuffed. You can't move. Constantly, you don't know where you are, you don't know what you're charged with, you don't know where you're going to be, how long you're going to be. He's not spoken to any of his family members. He has not met his wife. He has no idea where she is. So we have information, we share information. He has access to nothing. He has access to no idea other than what the police officers are barking in his ears. And even his legal representative is supervised. He has not spent a minute with his lawyer without anybody. And then going back to the Foreign and Commonwealth Office in terms of their services, and actually, given that we're now 43 days into his detention, they have not managed to secure a private meeting. Now,
the whole system's abusive.
All the reasons why they've got him aside, why are you denying private access to his lawyer? I mean, in this country, you get arrested, they can't interview you without a lawyer present, let alone interrogate you and torture you and put these on video. This guy can't even get a private meeting with his lawyer or with consular staff. That's the reality of it.
Another thing we need to hear is, he has told us, he's told the lawyer, he's been physically tortured. So the threat of a police officer saying to him, I'm going to torture you, he knows they're not scared to do it. They've done it 100%. Once, they're not scared to do it again. Physically, they're doing it mentally. Another thing is, a lawyer has not been able to meet Jaggi because the police are playing games. The lawyer, and this lawyer that I've instructed, Advocate Manjapur, travels for 1 hour to Khanna, waits there for an hour and 15 minutes, and is not allowed to have access, and then he travels back. The access that he had to a lawyer, he's not getting that again. The only time he's met the lawyer was at court yesterday morning, and the last 3 days he's not had access, and that's because the police are playing these games again. And guys, this is where everyone needs to realize, this is where the torture aspect is. Mentally torturing him, saying, you're not having access to a lawyer, he doesn't care about you, your family doesn't care about you, and making it a situation for him. Now think about this. and it hurts me even just to think about this. You're put in a room. We don't know how big the room is. We can just imagine it's not a big room. You're handcuffed, you're chained, and you've got a Punjab police officer. Whether that's a senior one, is a mid-senior one, or whatever the hell he is. Just imagine that thought. That scares me at night. Just having that thought of what's going on. And now think about that. If that was you in that situation, is that not torture in itself? That's a thought that needs to stay in your mind.
I mean, one thing it's really important for people to really think about this case is that, look, don't get too consumed with what gets put out there.
Because
Because
that's another thing. Could we go over the videos that the Indian media have propagated, the alleged confession videos, if we can get some clarification
Can
on
I-
what those were?
So
Yeah.
can I just raise one point? As a lawyer in the UK, if there's an allegation against anybody, the media is not allowed to put anything out in the public eye because it would jeopardize their trial. What's happened here? Just ask yourself that question. If there is any truth in this confession, why is it being put out in the media? Why did it not just go to a court? That's the only question I'm going to say, put to yourself. There's been a doubt being put in people's heads, in their minds. And as a lawyer, I'm speaking here today, and a brother. They wouldn't let that happen in the UK. And if that happened in the UK, you've prejudiced the whole trial, and there's no conviction.
If we could go into more detail on what's actually happened, if you
Yeah,
can.
so like if we look at who's actually giving this information out, right, firstly, right, is the Indian government. So the Indian government, according to Article 25 of the Indian Evidence Act, the law says that any confession given to the police in police custody isn't admissible in court. So the Indian law is not even trusting the police officers to take a confession, a so-called confession, right? So this information that's come out, like Gurpreet said, it's come out into the media. If they had this information, this so-called factual information, they should present that in court. The reason that they're putting it out in the media is the reason why the propaganda always goes out in the media. It's to affect people, it's to create doubts, it's to scare people. This is the same Indian government that when they attacked the Darbar Sahib in 1984, they said no civilians were killed, no women were killed, no children were killed. They officially, in their official government papers, they said Akal Takht hasn't been attacked, is completely intact as a building. Till this day, the Indian government says what happened in November is a riot, not a genocide. So there's no question of trust here. Nobody trusts the Indian government. The Indian politicians don't trust the Indian government. The average citizen doesn't trust them. They don't trust the Punjab police. The Punjab police for the last 30 years has enjoyed free reign of impunity, killing, raping, torturing people. Their officers are drunk. You can go on YouTube and see their videos of their officers drunk falling around on the streets. So they know their court system is so flawed. The only thing that they have is the media. And in the media, it's a complete demonization. It's an attack against Sikhi. It's an attack against all of our community. And we're not going to stand for this at all.
And I think if we just go on to the confession side of it, I think I heard one of his legal representatives say that in one of the recent court appearances, they've said they've asked for further remand because he's not confessing, he's not talking. So already in their mind, he is not innocent. They're just going to continuously ask for this remand until they beat something out of him. Yeah. That's what they say.
Reasonable.
How can you say to a judge that he's not confessing, please give us more time?
You know,
more
the
time
law
to do what?
The law actually says that they can't trust the lawyer. So this is why they don't let the lawyer meet with Jaggi, with the client, during the police interrogation process, because they're like, the lawyer might tell something to the client and what, help them form a defense. Like, the whole system is absolutely absurd. And like, you know, you guys are saying, like, it's because he's a British citizen. This is normal for Indians, picking people up from the street, chucking them in prison, electrocuting them, beating them. You see this stuff happening all the time. There's a video the other day, some guy burnt someone to death and beat him with an axe, like over some like love thing, like love jihad or whatever. This stuff's normal in India. The reason why it's becoming such a big issue for us is because it's absolutely absurd when you take the stuff that's happening in India, the so-called world's largest democracy, and put it on the world stage. It's absolutely absurd.
And this is the thing, right? So if you look at it with any rational mind, and the reality is, this case has made global headlines.
Yeah.
And everybody who has a story to tell would crave for that kind of attention. It doesn't get there because it doesn't have the truth. This campaign has the truth around it, that a British citizen was picked up for speaking about human rights violations. Let's be at the core of it. So he has been targeted and abused for that reason, to shut him up and shut anybody else who wants to talk about human rights. Now, if you look at those confessional videos, whatever, the point is, what has he said in them? I think you've got to look at actually what is going on. Indian government are trying to combat to a media campaign, which has been run by the Sangat who have supported Jaggi. The Free Jaggi campaign has been out there globally. It's had global celebrities, politicians from Canada, America, Australia, the UK. Parliament has had 2 discussions, questions raised to it on Jaggi. All right. So this was their attempt. The first attempt was to put out a shoddy confessional statement and use pictures of UK individuals that had gone and talking to a historian from Pakistan. And suddenly they're ISI. I mean, the ludicrousy of it is that that individual himself said, I'm a historian. Why are you tweeting my pictures out? That makes them look shambolic. And then the second video, and what they do, it's like a Star Plus drama. It's like, the only thing was missing was the zoom zoom music. It's like showing his picture. You got Jimmy's confession, you got Jaggi's confession, you got commentary, everyone's an expert suddenly. Terrorism is rife, funding going on. All of these buzzwords are getting thrown in, and actually what has he said? He's in a state of nervousness, his head is straight, he's not touching his face, he's not moving his body. That if you were having an interview, you would be thinking about questions. You'd be thinking, giving a response, you'd be maybe correcting yourself. This is so orchestrated that you've got to, let's just be real, you're watching a confession that is directly looking at the camera, whether there's a script, whether it's on cue, but he is so robotic. That is not normal.
And the way Gurpreet asked the question, what would you do, or what do you think about his situation?
Yeah.
Think about who might be standing behind that camera.
Exactly.
How many people are standing there? Now, I haven't been back to India for a while, for obvious reasons, but I remember the last time I went, which was a long while ago, I was at the airport, and all the guy did was, and I'm not the only one they do, they look at your passport, look at you for about a minute or so, look back, and genuinely I was thinking, if I look him in the eye, does it look as if I'm being cheeky? And if I look away, do I look guilty of something? It puts you in a nervous situation.
Right?
Now imagine these big, burly Punjab police officers who are known to be like Darinde, in their public life, to stand over you and tell you what to do. Now there's people who feel nervous just to, when they're checking their bags in and they go, what's in your bag? You know what I mean? Open it up. You know what I mean? Give me Japani now. People start flapping. Imagine being in a cell. Not even a proper cell, in a police station cell in Punjab, man. It's unthinkable.
Guys, sorry, on that video aspect of it, if you look at this, right, there was a video released to the Delhi kind of news channels last Thursday. Not this Thursday, by the 1 week before that. This is what Jazz has just picked up on as so-called ISIS, ISI officer. Once proper research was done on facts, we've got a video on our Facebook page, and it says how they've tried to attempt to have this confession on him. And that video has then basically cleared out facts of who this person is, who's a historian. So this week, before the court date on Friday, they just released this all around Punjab. Not Delhi this time, but Punjab. Why? To put doubt in people's heads. Put it in their minds what it is. Why are they not playing the exact same video that they played last week? Because the news report... I've been talking to BBC Scotland. They've been following this whole story, and they say that we need to verify things before we do anything. All these channels, what they've done is put out the side that the Indian government want them to put out, and then when the legal rep, not just Jaggi's legal rep, but another human rights lawyer comes onto a panel and says this is inadmissible, they get challenged and say no, it's not. And when the solicitors make the comments, how can Yadav, I don't know who this person is, I didn't know about this person, but this is apparently an agent from India that's in Pakistan. He made a confession, and India are saying that is inadmissible. Whereas here it's a different situation.
And I think the key thing for the viewers and all the supporters really is, guys, I mean, this is a gameplay, this is tactical. Right? This is standard tactics that they will use because they want to create doubt and slow the campaign down. Give you something to think that, oh, maybe he was implicated. Now, we don't know if he was or not, on what was involved. But the point is, what we're saying is, if you have evidence, do it the right way. If you're so confident, then why are you having to resort to these dirty tactics? You don't do it on every other case. You don't do it on Bollywood stars when they're arrested. They don't see confessional videos out, right? So the point is, don't buy into it. There it is to try and discredit the campaign. There is, I mean, some of the shows that we're talking about, they were bigging up the Punjab police like they're the most intelligent force ever to crack this global conspiracy. I mean, it's farcical. There's that much conspiracy and internal charges on the Punjab police, and the Punjab police themselves don't want Punjab police to get involved in their own cases. They look for the CBI or others.
And
right?
I think it's quite telling about the success of the campaign, and this is part
This
of
is
the
it. This is
Sangha. They've had to resort to
this,
this, you know what I mean? Otherwise, if we hadn't built up this pressure, if we hadn't been so effective and efficient in what we're doing, they wouldn't resort to this.
So this is a brilliant point to come into one of the most commonly asked questions in this thread, was that how can the Sangat help? What can we do to help this campaign?
I think first and foremost is something to look beyond the propaganda. We have had 33 years of propaganda. We should be in a better place to filter it all out. So first of all, before we start turning on or questioning ourselves or the campaign, first question the sources. That should be our first instinct, should be to say, hold on, let's not just blast us around and start thinking maybe is question it first of all, right? See it for what it is, be more inquisitive like we are in our own issues, inquisitive something like this. And actually, let's start voicing your opinions. Put it out there on your social media, how much of a joke this is. Challenge what is out there with positive, investigative, and proper challenging on what gets put out there. Let's not buy it and then consume ourselves, our focus and energy on trying to deal with that and answer that, because that takes time. We're all volunteers and we all do this as our save our for it because it's one of our brothers. Secondly, will be to and I'm sure the guys, but this has always been a political campaign. To lead on, because government to government, they need to get him out, right? Other avenues will come into play. But from a political point of view, we've had two campaigns where the Sangat have wrote mass letters to politicians. We have an EDM out there, which they can ask their politicians to sign. All this creates constant pressure and focus on Jaggi in Parliament where it matters. Privately, I think what we also need to do is put a huge pressure on, like we have been doing through social media, and we may have to hit the ground through various agitation and protests. Now, all of that will get planned through the team, but I think support that people have been given has been great. Keep doing it. The more we get it from randoms, individuals, off their own accounts, that's where you start to really create momentum, and that's where the power comes from.
I think if I could just chime in right there, is that we've been holding a Twitter storm campaign for the past month, and that has been monumentally effective. We've got the likes of Diljit Dosanjh, Akala, who is a well-known rapper here, people who are in activist circles all around the world, giving support to Free Jaggi now. And this has happened because of our Twitter campaigns, which has come from a small Sangat, and we've slowly been growing every day. If anyone wants to get involved, you hit us up on Instagram, on Twitter, look up the hashtag FreeJaggi now, and get involved in the 3 daily people that will be Twitter storming.
And I'd also suggest as well, going beyond this campaign and like to develop our community, we need to learn more about our history. We need to learn more about our relationship in India, what's going on, what has happened to us, what's the larger context of the issues that are taking place. Why does this keep happening? Why do Punjab police torture Sikhs? Why have they tortured Sikhs for the last 35 years? Why is there impunity? What's going on? We need to educate ourselves so that we're empowered. So next time this happens to somebody else, and it will happen because this is an ongoing issue with the Indian government, then next time this happens, we're in a better position. We're in a really great position this time. We've responded really effectively, but let's educate ourselves. Let's read, let's study, let's get together in Sangats, do reading circles, go to your Gurdwara, do jobs, get more involved in the Panthic community.
If someone could quickly answer a question that I just got in, why should the diaspora care about this at all? Obviously, if they don't want to go back to Punjab.
I think the diaspora needs to care about this more, because the diaspora, I'll be straight, being in the diaspora, we have massive privileges. We can think, speak, act completely differently the way compared to the Sikh in Punjab. We have to use our privileges for the benefit of the Qawm, for the benefit of the Panth. We have to put everything back into the Panthic, Khatta, into that Panthic section. We're really in a unique position. We have a choice. We can either stay in the diaspora and build our families on a personal level, or we can use everything we have. We've got activists, we've got organizations, we can all care about this, because the word diaspora, it means we're from somewhere, and the place we're from is from Punjab. So our parents came here. Most of us are just literally first, second generation. Like, I was the first person in my family to be born here. So we're first generation. We've actually come from somewhere else. So the diaspora is connected to Punjab. We're all connected to each other. All over the world, Sikhs have responded in this campaign. Why? Because Sikhi connects them, Guru connects them, Panth connects them. Doesn't matter what party they were, doesn't matter what country they're from. Everyone, सारे ने अपनी आवाज बुलंद की थी. Everyone raised their voice. Why? Because we're all Sikhs and we're all connected. So diaspora opened up.
And that's a really good point Shamshed makes, because why should we get involved? Because, look, we might be in the diaspora, yes, we have the freedoms, but we have issues here. We have issues about the Sikh identity every day in this country. The Dastar in Europe, in UK, Gurbani. Now, where do these identity issues come from? We are not being recognised in ethnic race. Where's the pressure come from? Now, the Prime Minister of India, who was labelled the Sikh Prime Minister, travelled to France to see the Prime Minister and could not once ask him, why has your country banned the Dastar that I'm also wearing? So these issues of the diaspora, they exist. That we have this opportunity and voice to raise them, and that's an obligation. And I think, just to give another example, Amnesty International, a global human rights organisation, is not allowed to operate in India. So the UN Rapporteur on Human Rights has been banned from Punjab for 33 years. So you talk about why the Sikh diaspora is important to raise, because even those bodies are not allowed to operate in Punjab. So forget the Sikh voice. These are global human rights organizations. The UN is not allowed to operate and go into Punjab. That's why we have to do that, because outside here we have to be their voice, and that's been the tagline of the campaign, is be Jaggi's voice.
And I think what's pertinent about, just to finish up on the diaspora issue, Jaggi hasn't actually done anything wrong. He's been used as a pawn for the diaspora. It's actually a stark warning, just to kind of calm your social media activism down. So if anything, what this campaign has done, it's actually done the opposite of what they wanted. People have actually become more active, and they've become less fearful of Punjab, of Indian government. So just carry on. You don't understand how one tweet from one individual, you don't even have to be an organization, how powerful one tweet, one post can be. So keep it up. It was supposed to be a warning. We flipped it, and let's just carry on with the
I just want to mention one point, right? In the last month since this campaign's begun, if you go on Punjab Police on Twitter, they've tweeted twice in the last month. Both times they tweeted about social media radicalization. So don't underestimate the power that we have collectively, what our voice is. Social media is an incredibly powerful weapon. We're connected all through it. The entire diaspora as a community, we can empower ourselves, we can use knowledge points, and we can build that narrative, and we can build dialogue as a community.
I mean, just to come on a key point, if you think about in terms of who picks the message up, right? So the youth of Punjab pick up their updates and their news from social media. I mean, if you ask the average family in the Pind and in Punjab, those who watch the news regularly, they have their daily chores, they pick up bits and pieces, and they are conditioned to what is real news and what is just politicians just having a go at each other. Whether it's Aam Aadmi, whether it's Congress, that's just the pantomime that goes on in Punjab. But actually, the youth of Punjab and youth of India are much more in tune with it, whether it was the Delhi issues when the rape cases were happening, whether it was the JNU issues. So the youth of India are much more up to speed with the social media aspect. They are picking up the news from the campaign. So we are connecting with our brothers and sisters in Punjab and across India directly through this campaigning. And this is about being inquisitive. Ask questions. Is it a safe place to go?
100%.
Why are these things happening? Why is the rule of law not being applied there? Well, I mean, this is our fundamental questions that every person has the right to ask. And it's the state's obligation to answer them. It's not the duty of the media or of individuals. They're not responsible for the state. It's up to the government to do, and they demonstrate it by their actions. And their actions in this case are of grave concern. And this is how, as individuals, we need to be careful, because those activities by that country could affect us and have affected us on anti-Sikh measures in this country. We've seen it for 33 years, and that could play out again. So this is why even issues like this 5,000 miles away are critical to Sikhs of our generation and the next generation in terms of their relationship.
Guys, 33 years ago, we didn't have social media. We didn't have this voice. What we're going to wait for another 33 years? Are we going to wait for this to happen to another Jaggi and then wake up? And then 33 years down the line, we might be sitting here with white beards and thinking, shit, what
happened?
Right, guys, the main question that we're getting asked on here is what are UK government doing about this?
that we're going to touch on that.
So just a couple of things. I think just if we could just give that update in terms of where we've been to. So the UK government met with Jagtar and Jaggi on the 16th of November. They've had 3 follow-up meetings, all accompanied, so no private meetings. They've not had an open conversation with Jaggi because there's been 2 senior officers who both speak English. So that's very intimidating that actually he can't say anything in English as well, because many people say, why doesn't he just... Yeah, and they've been taking notes on everything that is asked and everything that is said. We should also note that since then, they said they had escalated it. The matter had been escalated to the Chief Minister, also escalated to the Ministry of External Affairs. Now, we also know that Boris Johnson had phoned Sushma Swaraj, the Foreign Secretary of India. So it is at the highest level politically.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so that's great because the Sanghas have got it there, and that's with all this letter campaigning, all this pressure we've been building, we've got them to that state. However, since then, since the parliamentary statements by the Minister, Rory Stewart, where he said it was both offensive and unconstitutional, and extreme action would happen, would be taken, they've stepped back a bit. Now, we also need to be quite realistic around how government to government will work.
Yeah.
That was a very strong statement, that they were held to that. That's the standard that we now hold them to. However, in a state-to-state conversation, you can just imagine India picking up the phone and saying, how dare you say that? We haven't done nothing. Who are you to? And instead of them enforcing it, will say, well, give us access. They seem to have slowed it down. They still haven't managed to have a private meeting. When you can get interrogation tapes released to the media, and that circus be played out, but a British consulate cannot even have a private meeting with their citizen, and you've got uneducated guys sitting on a panel saying, well, do we have a relationship with England who will reciprocate that? Well, in this country, you have a private meeting with your lawyer, with your family, let alone with an official. So it's just ludicrous. So where we are now is that meetings are still happening. They are still supervised. With the government now, it's at a level where they have now taken Jagtar's consent that they will act on the claims of torture. That is over a month after he made them. Now, it is the obligation of everybody to keep the pressure on the politicians, but they are now raising the question of torture. They will raise the questions of the medical. They will also raise the issues of his continued mistreatment. So what that triggers is a question that they have to then respond to. How strongly they go will depend on how much pressure we keep on them.
100%.
Whether they will fully investigate, what will they accept as a reasonable response, and then what... The government has many avenues to it that they can employ.
They've got a lot of options, and just just on the so recently, just building on what Jazz said, whatever the UK government does or does not do, we're going to keep an eye on what they are doing. Like, so recently with Mark Field, he made a comment, right? A ridiculous, irresponsible comment. Within days, there was letters going out from the all-party parliamentary group, Sikh Federation, from Jaggi's MP, Martin Doherty Hughes, responding straight to him and saying, how can you say that he's fine? You haven't spoken to him in private. You know he's been tortured. You know, if you ask him in police custody, how are you doing, with these police officers surrounded in this small room with potential torturers standing next to him, of course he's going to say he's fine.
It was a passing comment. I'm okay at that moment.
Exactly. Like,
right.
So we're going to continue to hold the British government to account, given like the recent developments with the Chennai 6 and how the FCO has categorically, the Chennai 6 are saying, failed them. There's been massive failings from the FCO. We're going to keep up to date. We're going to keep our eye on them, and we're going to keep the pressure on them. And with the Sangat support,
in short, we need your help in relation to pushing the FCO, because we've got rights as British citizens and we need him to get his full rights. And you know what, I think we should demand them then, because it's coming to the stage. How long are we going to keep begging for? We've waited 1 month. Jaggi has had to put himself at risk in order to give consent to have his torture allegations investigated. Realistically, what are we waiting for? If we really think about it, an affidavit in the UK from a solicitor means a lot. An application to the court means a lot, and they did not investigate those charges. They waited for consent. Consent was provided. Now, we need to hold them responsible. As Jazz said, Shamsher said, 2 very strong comments were made for the people at the top level. The Prime Minister of the UK, Theresa May, the Foreign Secretary, Rory Stewart, Foreign Minister, has made these statements. Now, guys, it's up to you as well.
I mean,
what we need to do is push them to actually take immediate action of what they said.
I think it's important to let the Sangha know what is actually the next plan, because recognising that it's coming close to the holiday period, that politicians will break. So the plan is, there is efforts underway for the APPG chair, Preet Kaur Gill, and Martin Doctor Hughes to meet with Boris Johnson before the holidays. Because again, it's putting him on the spot. He's had that conversation with his counterpart. What are they doing to bring him back? I mean, it goes beyond private meetings now. Whether we get a private meeting or not, what more is he going to say? How much more is he going to say he's been tortured? Point is, how are they going to get him back? They need to be working on political solutions that bring Jagtar back here. And this is where we need to understand what is the strategy. Now, consular services are fine. They'll give you updates and you get them. We're more interested in actually what is the political strategy to get him home. They have all these avenues. Boris Johnson flew out to Iran last week to meet with the Iranians, Tehran, to talk about the release of Nazneen Radcliffe. When is Boris Johnson going to fly out to Punjab and Delhi and directly ask for the release of Jagtar Singh? For him, because again, let's not forget, anything they're throwing at him, any accusation would have happened when he was in this country. So he needs to come back here, and if there's anything to answer, hand over the file. But this is the level where we need the British government to play its role, and everybody who's a citizen and a member in this country has 2 things to do. Question your MP. When they come to your Gurdwara, whether it's over the holiday period or you invite them next to your Gurdwara, they all come when they need your votes. They'll all come when they want a Surupa. Invite your MP to your Gurdwara in our territory, in our Gurdwara, Gurukars. Ask him there, what has he done? What is he going to do? We need to take political activism a bit more seriously. The first stage was writing letters. Now let's hold them to account. They've given you a letter of response back. Now bring him and make him answerable. And if you have a conservative politician, or a minister even in your constituency, go and see him. In this country, we have the freedom. If Theresa May is your constituent in Maidenhead, you can go and see her on her surgeries. That's how much access and freedom we have to our politicians. Make it count. Go and if you have a government minister as your MP, go and meet him, make a point of seeing him, and ask him directly what they're doing. I think this is where we need to really focus on.
Guys, the other thing is the EDM 661. We've got 39 signatures on that. I'm pretty sure we can get that to 100 signatures before the Parliament finish for the holidays. That's a very, very big hit, because having a debate in Parliament is on record that this was said against the Indian government. We need to take these avenues. We need to get involved in these political avenues. And guys, phone up your MP Monday morning and say, have you signed this? If not, we want you to sign it. If they say, no, we're not going to sign this, you need to ask them why. If enough constituents ask the MP to sign something, they are their representatives. We need to bear that in mind, and they'll sign, and we'll have these 100 before Parliament breaks up.
I also think that, the Sangat, even if we get to the judicial remand stage, let's not be under a false sense of security. When we hear about remand, we automatically think about our own countries, what remand means and what investigation means. Let's not think that remand and investigation means something really meaningful. A whole lifetime can go past through remands and investigations. And as to Chennai 6, what it means to lose 4 years of your life, and are they the same men that they were 4 years ago? We've seen people like Professor Bullard, they're not even a shadow of themselves. So we can't afford that to happen to Jaggi. Let's not think about 8 different cases and all these different cases and different remands and, he might be investigated for this. We need him back now.
Yeah, and this is something, again, it'd be a question that's often asked is, let's get the best lawyers, get this. We're not interested in having a trial. We are not looking for this to be a 3 or 4 year saga which plays out in the courts.
And they've got previous for that.
Yeah, and this is what they're doing. And we don't want to fall into that trap. No, what we want is direct political intervention. Because there is no case to answer. It's all fabricated. If it is, they should have presented it. And there's processes a way to do that. He's a British citizen. So our focus and effort is, and this is where we're now getting support by international human rights organizations, independently of raising questions about this case. These guys don't get involved if it's a if it's a controversial case. They're getting involved because this is outrageous, and it's a violation of an individual's human rights. And they know the backdrop of what happened. And India have gotten away from being answerable for its human rights violations, and that cannot continue. So I think we're not interested, or we're not looking to play a legal case out and go through the court system. If need be, we will do that. However, this is about getting in. The Indian authorities have already said they're not interested in that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have put these videos out, confessional videos out on TV. So they're not interested in that. They're interested in a trial and conviction on TV, in the media, in the minds of people, and this is what we've got to respond, just like it in hearts and minds of people.
Guys, another question we're getting asked is, what can Sangha do outside UK to put pressure on Indian government, and can we change the language now to Punjabi, because a lot of Punjabis are watching and they want to know what's happening as well. So
on the outside of the UK, we've seen like from Sangha from Australia, Canada getting involved, writing to the Indian consulates in their countries, writing to the Indian foreign minister in their countries, asking them, writing to the British consulate and asking them what they're doing, so they can be engaged in that international political process. There's letters, there's examples on the Facebook page from Australia, from Canada, from wherever Sikhs are living.
I think that's quite powerful, because given the pressure that went on in the first months, right, we've had, we'll cover this point and we'll cover it in Punjabi as well, is that Canadian ministers, Amarjit Sohi is the Minister for Infrastructure and Communities. He's a government minister in Justin Trudeau's government. He himself has suffered torture at the hands of the Punjab police. He spoke out immediately around human rights violations. Harjit Sajjan, the Defence Minister for Canada, spoke out. Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, spoke out. Other politicians around the world. Now that is because they have Sikhs in these countries that will be concerned. And as Shamsher said, write to your MP, go and write to the British High Commission, whether you want to do peaceful protests outside the British High Commission, the Indian High Commission in those foreign countries. Raise the awareness. Get your country to have a discussion and a debate or questions actually in your parliament about the atrocities of the case of Jagtar Singh, because it's important, because it could be a Sikh from one of your countries that goes out there and gets abducted. Also importantly, that we had confirmed from the Foreign and Commonwealth offices that foreign governments had asked the British government whether they could get involved. So we know the Canadian government, the Scottish Parliament and others have asked the British government, do you need our help? Should we be raising it with India directly? So it helps, and it puts a huge amount of pressure on global, because every country will have a different relationship with India. So the more countries that get aware of it, more governments become aware of it, the different dialogue and the more pressure that happens and placed on India at a global level can only be help the cause.
People shouldn't be afraid of, targeting those who are, not targeting for the wrong word, but exposing those journalists especially who are putting out these shambolic videos. Even police officers, when we find out which SSP is in charge of the police station where Jaggi is, let's not be afraid to expose these people and make them famous for all the wrong reasons. They don't mind sticking their head above the parapet and making ludicrous shambolic statements, so let's make them famous for it.
Punjabi ਚ ਵੀ ਅਪਡੇਟ ਦੇ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਮਨੇਰੀ ਡੋਨ ਐਨੀਵੇ।
ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਇੱਕ ਸਵਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕਿ ਵਕੀਲ ਵੱਡਾ ਵਕੀਲ ਕਰੋ, ਤੋ ਇਹੀ ਆ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਜੱਜ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਵਾ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਵਕੀਲ ਹੈਗੇ ਵੀ ਆ, ਉਹਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹ ਟਰਾਇਲ ਤੇ ਜਾਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਗੱਲ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਸਿੰਬੋਲਿਕ ਕਰਤੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਜੱਜ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਗੱਲ ਕਹੀ ਆ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ। ਤੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੌਰਮੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛ ਕਰੋ, ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਗੌਰਮੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਨੂੰ ਕੱਢੋ ਬਾਹਰ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗਲਤ ਕਰਨ ਡਏ ਆ।
ਅਗਰ ਜਗਤਾਰ ਨਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ, ਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਯੂਰਪ 'ਚ ਹੋਗੇ ਜਾਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਜਾਂ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗਲਤ ਖਬਰਾਂ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਡਟ ਕੇ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਕਰਨਾ। ਤਾਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਕਿ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਦੇਖੋ, ਉਹਦੀ ਐਨਾਲਿਸਿਸ ਕਰੋ ਕਿ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਇਹ ਗਲਤ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਕੀ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਹਾਲਾਤਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੋਲ ਰਹੇ ਆ। ਇੱਕਦਮ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਕੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਘਬਰਨਾ ਕਿ ਦੇਖੋ ਆਹ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਸਾਰੀ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਗਲਤ ਆ। ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਨਾਲ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸੋਚੋ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਕੀ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਕੀ ਆ। ਤੇ ਇਹ ਜੁੜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਮੁਲਕਾਂ 'ਚ ਰਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਦੀ ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰੋ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਆ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਦੱਸੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਇੱਥੇ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ 'ਚ ਘੱਟ ਆ ਇਹ ਸਾਡਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰਕ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਹੋਰ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਡੀਟੇਲ ਅਪਡੇਟ ਦੇਵੋ ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁਣ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੇ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਲੈਣੀ ਆ ਇਹ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਲਾਓ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੱਚ ਦਾ ਖੋਲਿਆ there's no influence ਇੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਪਰਵਾਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਇਨਫਲੂਐਂਸ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਜੋ ਸੱਚ ਆ ਜੋ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਰੱਖ ਦੇਣੀ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਹੋਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦੱਸੋ ਕਿ ਲੋ ਆਪੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਕਰੋ ਜਦ ਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੋਂ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਬੁਲੰਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਲੋਕਲ ਕੋਰਟਾਂ ਕਚਹਿਰੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਤਰੀਕਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੋ ਪੁੱਛਗਿੱਛ ਕਰੋ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੀ ਗ੍ਰਾਸਰੂਟਸ ਮੂਵਮੈਂਟ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੋਂ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਤੋਂ ਇਹਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵ ਪੈਣਾ ਤਾਂ ਹੌਸਲਾ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਨੂੰ ਵੱਧ ਸਕਦਾ
ਜੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਦੇਖੋ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਧੱਕਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ ਪਿੱਛੋਂ ਤਾਂ ਗਾਂ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹੀ ਉਮੀਦ ਆ ਕਿ ਧੱਕਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਣਾ ਆ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਕੌਮ ਨਿਕਲੀ ਆ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਫੜ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਸਿੱਖ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ ਕੋਈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਇਨਸਾਫ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਨਹੀਂਗਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਇਨਸਾਫ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦਾ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੇਸਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਦਾ ਕੇਸ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਕੌਮੀ ਮਸਲੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਉਹ ਨਾ 30 ਸਾਲ 20 ਸਾਲ ਉੱਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਬੈਠੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਲਮਕਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਤਰੀਕਾਂ ਗਾਂਹ ਪਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਮੁਕੱਦਮਾ ਲੱਗੇ ਨਾ ਬਿਮਾਰੀ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹ ਬਣਿਆ ਹੀ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਬਣਿਆ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦਾ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਕਨਸਟੀਟਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਆ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ 'ਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਗੋੜਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਆ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਆ ਕਿ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਬਸ ਭੁਗਤੀ ਜਾਓ ਤਰੀਕਾਂ ਭੁਗਤੀ ਜਾਓ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਪੈਸਾ ਬਰਬਾਦ ਹੋਵੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਬਰਬਾਦ ਹੋਵੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਿਰ ਖਪਾਈ ਹੋਵੇ ਇਹ ਬਣਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਉਹਦੀ ਜੱਗੀ ਦੀ ਕੀ ਮੁੱਲ ਆ ਉਹਦਾ ਕੀ ਵੈਲਿਊ ਹੈ ਸਾਰੀ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਪਾਸਪੋਰਟ ਆ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਹੁਣ ਲੋਕੀ ਇੰਟਰਸਟਿਡ ਆ ਲੋਕੀ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਜ਼ਿਆਦੀ ਚੱਕ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਨਾਗਰਿਕ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕਰਤੀ ਆ ਫਿਰ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ ਸੋ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੌਮ ਦੇ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਪੜ੍ਹੀਏ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਮਝੀਏ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਾਹਤੋਂ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਗਾਂ ਕਾਹਤੋਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਨਵੋਲਵ ਹੋਈਏ ਪੰਥਕ ਸਰਕਲਾਂ 'ਚ ਇਨਵੋਲਵ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਜਾਓ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨੂੰ ਐਜੂਕੇਟ ਕਰੀਏ ਅਵੇਅਰਨੈਸ ਲਿਆਈਏ ਕਿ ਕਾਹਤੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜੱਗੀ ਦੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਬਣੀ ਹੈ ਜੱਗੀ ਕੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਉਹ ਪੜ੍ਹਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕੀ ਉਹ ਦੇਖਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਖੁਲਾਸਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਕਬੂਲਨਾਮਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਕਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਕਿ ਸੰਤ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਸਪੀਚ ਪੜ੍ਹਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਢਾਡੀ ਵਾਰਾ ਸੁਣਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਸ਼ਹੀਦਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਫੋਟੋਆਂ ਦੇਖਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਇਹ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਗੁਨਾਹ ਆ ਸਿਰਫ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਗੁਨਾਹ ਆ ਹੋਰ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਖੋਲ੍ਹ ਲਿਆ ਜੋ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੰਗ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ ਬਹੁਤ ਆਜ਼ਾਦ ਪਸੰਦ ਕੌਮਾਂ ਆ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉੱਥੇ ਇੰਨੀ ਤੰਗੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ
ਇੱਕ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਹੋਰ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਆ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਸਟ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਵਾ ਤੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਆ ਵੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਸਟ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਹਾਊਸ ਤੇ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਵਾ ਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਕੀ ਰਾਏ ਆ ਤੇ ਅਗਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਸਟ ਹੋਣਾ ਵਾ ਕਦੋਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਵਾ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਵਾ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਹੋਣਾ ਵਾ
ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਸਟ ਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਲੈਨਿੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਪਰ ਜੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਸਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ 16 ਤਰੀਕ ਨੂੰ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਸਟ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਆਬਜੈਕਟਿਵ ਸੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਗਏ ਸੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਮੰਗ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੂਰੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਸਟ ਦੀ ਪਲੈਨਿੰਗ ਹੋਣ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲੋਂ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਨੂੰ ਪਰ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਉੱਦੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਚੱਲ ਗਏ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਉਹਦਾ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਫੇਰ ਸੁਣੂਗੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਸਟ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਲਾਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਦਵਾਂਗੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ
ਇਹ ਕਾਫੀ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਚੱਕਣਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਕਈ ਪਾਸੇ ਦੇਖਣੇ ਪੈਂਦੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਵਾਲ ਨੇ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕਿ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਹਾਊਸ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਜਾਂ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਇਹਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਲੈਨਿੰਗ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਟਾਈਮ ਨੋਟਿਸ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੂਰੋਂ ਨੇੜੋਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਇਹ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਖੜੇ ਪੈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਰਨਾ ਪਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਦਾ ਕੋਚਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧਕਾਂ ਤੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧਕ ਤੇ ਭਾਰ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਵੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਇਹੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਪਲੈਨਿੰਗ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਟਾਈਮ ਦਈਏ ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਜਿਹਨੀ ਛੁੱਟੀ ਵੀ ਲੈਣੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਉਹ ਛੁੱਟੀ ਕਰ ਲਓ ਬੁੱਕ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਦੂਰੋਂ ਆਉਣਾ ਉਹ ਆਪਾਂ ਪੂਰਾ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟ ਦਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਐਨ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਨਾਲ ਕੌਮੀ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਥੇਬੰਦੀਆਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧਕ ਸਾਰੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਬੀਬੀਆਂ ਭੈਣਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇਸ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਦਾ ਦਰਦ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਫਿਕਰ ਆ ਜਗਤਾਰ ਦਾ ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਕੌਮ ਦਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਪੂਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਪੂਰੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਪਾਉਣ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਆ ਇਹ ਪੂਰੇ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਇਹਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਸਵਾਲ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਆ ਇਹਦੀ ਪਲੈਨਿੰਗ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਹੁਣ ਟਾਈਮ
ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਨਾ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੁਣ ਜੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਟੈਸਟ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੱਦ ਲਿਆ
ਆਉਣਾ
ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਇੰਨਾ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਸਲਾ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਜੱਗੀ ਤੱਕ ਸੀਮਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਇਹਨੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਕੌਮ ਨੂੰ ਹੱਥ ਪਾਇਆ ਤੇ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਨਾ ਲਾਇਆ ਪੂਰਾ ਡਟ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਦੇਖ ਲਿਓ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੈਲਫਿਸ਼ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਦੇਖੀਏ ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋ ਜੂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਹੋ ਜੂ ਕੱਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਹੋ ਜੂ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਡਟ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਜਵਾਬ ਦੇਣਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਰਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਚੈਲੰਜ ਆ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਗੁਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ 30 ਸਾਲ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਅੱਤਵਾਦੀ ਦਾ ਮੋਹਰ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮਾਰ ਸਿੱਟਿਆ ਹੁਣ ਦੇਖੋ 30 ਸਾਲ ਬਾਅਦ ਆ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਰਗੇ ਮੁੰਡਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਹੱਥ ਪਾਉਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਚੱਕਿਆ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਜੱਗੀ ਨੂੰ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਲਿਆਉਣ ਲਈ ਆ ਇਕੱਲੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਲਿਆਉਣ ਲਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹ ਮੂੰਹ ਤੋੜ ਜਵਾਬ ਵੀ ਦੇਣਾ ਪਾਉਣਾ ਨੂੰ
ਅਗਰ ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਫੇਰ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਹੋਵੇ ਜੇ ਅੱਜ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਖੜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਖੜਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਵਾਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇ ਸਕਦੇ ਤਾਂ ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਫੇਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਊਗੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫੇਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੀ ਕਹੋਗੇ ਫੇਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹੋਗੇ ਚਲੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਜੱਗੀ ਨਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ ਔਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਹ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਉਹ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੁਣ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਨਾਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਜਾਣੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਸਿਆਣੇ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸਕਿੱਲਸ ਆ ਵਰਤਨ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕਰੋ ਇਹ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਨੂੰ EDM ਜਿਹੜਾ 661 ਆ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ MP ਨੂੰ ਕਹੋ ਸਾਈਨ ਕਰੋ ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਇਹ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਦੀ ਅਵੇਅਰਨੈਸ ਰੇਜ਼ ਕਰੋ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਵਾਲੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਪ ਵੀ ਕਰੋ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕਰੋ ਪਾਠ ਕਰੋ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜੋਗੇ ਉਹ ਉਨਾ ਹੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਹਾਰਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਆਸਰੇ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਰੇ ਫਿਰਦੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣੇ ਸਵੇਰ ਨੂੰ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਜੱਗੀ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਣ ਆਪਿਆ ਵਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਇਹ ਮੈਦਾਨ ਫਤਿਹ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਤੇ ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਘਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਦੱਸੋ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਪ ਕਰੋ ਸੰਗਤ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਕੱਠੀ ਬੈਠੂਗੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਵ ਪੈਣਾ ਵਾ ਇਸ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਉੱਤੇ
ਇਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਬੋਲ ਸੋ ਧਰਮੀਆ ਮੋਨ ਕਤ ਧਾਰੀ ਰਾਮ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਧਰਮੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਬੋਲਣ 'ਚ ਕੋਈ ਗੁਨਾਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦਾ ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੋ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਬੀ ਜੱਗੀਜ਼ ਵੌਇਸ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਬੁਲੰਦ ਕਰੋ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਮਜਬੂਰੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੋਲ ਸਕਦੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਕੌਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਡਾਇਸਪੋਰਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਹੋਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੰਸਥਾਵਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਆ ਸੰਗਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੋਲੋ ਕੌਮੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੋ ਆਪਣੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਬੁਲੰਦ ਕਰੋ
ਅਗਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਫਿਨਿਸ਼ਿੰਗ ਵੱਲ ਲੈ ਜਾਈਏ ਤੇ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਜਣਾ ਜੋ ਪੈਨਲ ਤੇ ਬੈਠਾ ਵਾ ਕਮੈਂਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਜਗਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਲਓ
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you, Sangat Ji, for tuning in. And what I would request everyone to do is to get on the Twitter campaign, get involved with the Free Jaggi Now hashtag, and let's keep putting pressure on the FCO, on the British government, on the Indian government, on the Punjab police, because this has shaken them up and they're actually worried about what we're doing. We apply real pressure and it's been growing great. We need every one of you to get involved and carry on this campaign with us.
I'll say ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੱਧ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੌਮੀ ਇਤਿਹਾਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਪੜ੍ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੋ let's do more workshops let's get more activism going in the community we need more activists we need to fill that gap we have like a destination that we want to get to and we have ground realities we need to understand the terrain we need to like plot our course going forward in the future we are the future leaders we are the future generation for the com so let's get more active
I think just thank everybody for their support and I mean, what we've shown is that people have often questioned whether we're united, whether we're divided as a community. We have never been more than 2% in any country we've lived in. We have shown the power and the might of the SecCom when we stand on an issue like this. We are defenders of human rights. That's why we were created by our gurus. So I think it's understanding our duty that we continue the pressure. This fight is going to be political. We have to be politically active. Take it as your individual responsibility. Don't think that your granddie or your friend will do something. Do it yourself. Share it yourself. Create that pressure. Create that vacuum that we have been managed to generate. Keep that pressure there. We will continue to focus and hold those politicians to account. But with your support behind us, we are a calm. We are a nation asking questions that may not have official recognition, but we are acting as a nation, as an independent calm. And I think that comes down to every sect and every non-sect that supports this campaign. Keep doing it, and our commitment is we'll keep you updated.
Just finally, I think there's a Jaggi that lives in every one of us, and this isn't just about him as an individual. He is where he is because he hasn't committed a crime. He saw the Panth as his family. I think it's time that we became his family and got him out of that hellhole.
I don't want to thank everybody that's already supporting this campaign. Whoever's not supporting this campaign, please join in with this campaign. Let's be Jaggi's voice. Let's be his brother, like a father figure, and he is our son, our brother. Therefore, I would request, let's raise his voice, be Jaggi's voice. Join #FreeJaggi now. Follow us on the pages that you've got there, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and put the pressure on not just the British government, but also the Indian government. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਵਾਲ ਜਵਾਬ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਅੰਦਾਜ਼ਾ ਹੋ ਹੀ ਗਿਆ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ ਕਿ ਅਜੇ ਤੱਕ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੋ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ, ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਦਾ ਅੰਦਾਜ਼ਾ ਜਤਾਉਂਦੇ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ, ਉਹ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਸੱਚ ਸਾਬਿਤ ਹੋ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਤੇ ਇਹ ਡਰ ਹਰ NRI ਦੇ ਜ਼ਹਿਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਗਏ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਵੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਸ਼ਿਕੰਜਾ ਨਾ ਕੱਸਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਕਸੂਰਵਾਰ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ। ਪੁਲਿਸ ਅਤੇ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਸਨ ਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਗਤਾਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੋਹਲ ਉਫ ਜੱਗੀ ਦਾ ਕੇਸ ਹੁਣ NIA ਨੂੰ ਸੌਂਪ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਹੋ ਸਕੇ ਤਾਂ ਫਾਸਟ ਟਰੈਕ ਕੋਰਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਇਸ ਦਾ ਜਲਦ ਤੋਂ ਜਲਦ ਨਿਪਟਾਰਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ, ਦੁੱਧ ਦਾ ਦੁੱਧ ਪਾਣੀ ਦਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ, ਤਾਂ ਜੋ ਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਵਿਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਸਦੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਵੀਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਾਂਤੀ ਮਿਲ ਸਕੇ ਅਤੇ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਸਕੇ ਕਿ ਅਸਲੀਅਤ ਇਸ ਕੇਸ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਦੀ ਕੀ ਹੈ। If you like the news, please like and share the news, subscribe the channel। ਸਿੱਖ ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਹਰ ਗਤੀਵਿਧੀ ਅਤੇ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਹੁਣੇ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰੋ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਅਖੰਡ ਬਾਣੀ ਅਤੇ ਨੋਟੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਬੈਲ ਨੂੰ ਰਿੰਗ ਕਰੋ।